Thank you all for being here. I haven't been nervous at all, and even right now, I'm not super nervous, but I feel that little thing right here. And I am like a writer. I'm not really a speaker, so it's been different to practice reading out loud. So forgive me if I have little hiccups, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. And I write just like a journal. It's like prose. It's like thoughts. Um, And yeah, these are things that I've kind of just pushed together in the last couple weeks. So I have 15 minutes to say what I need to say, but I have spent a lifetime trying to put words to these emotions. I am familiar with this challenge. I go from past, present, to future, all within the same thought. And when I return, I am just older, still without a clear answer. My meditations turn into prayers, and my habits become rituals. I am a creature of rules, and only with these rigid parameters am I comfortable enough to live through this mysterious existence. I find what I need within them, and for that I am grateful. In my thoughts and my dreams, I am bombarded with information that my conscious self is stranger to. I am given unwarranted, unspoken advice from unrecognizable faces. Their unique profiles are like characters, symbols with meaning. They are presented to me like an internal language. I see them when I am awake, in the corners of mirrors when I catch a glimpse of myself without intending to, or peeking at me through wet windows on rainy nights. They are always juxtaposed in an odd, kind of frightening way. Sometimes they are even bold enough to be standing inside the room I need to go into. And when I do my double take to make sure if I saw them right, they're gone, vanished back into a plane I cannot comprehend. But their imprint lingers on my brain. They said what they needed to say. There was an understanding within me, and so I know that they were there. But I lose these lessons they teach me every day. I cannot hold my attention because I cannot hold anything, lost on what precisely the moral of the story just was. They impact me in abstract ways. It's remarkable how quickly emotions can turn from happy to confused, from neutral to devastated. And there may not be any tangible reason to reach for after the change. No relief because there's no excuse, no scapegoat to place the blame on. And so the burden stays with me and weighs me down. I can pinpoint it in my body, turn my mind's eye to it and say, there you are. But I'm stuck with it. The puppeteer pulls the strings of my heart, yanks the cords of my brain. He is up there somewhere doing something for some reason, and I am simply at his mercy. And so I am a born-again, God-fearing, normal, humble man. Nothing more, nothing less. I have learned that age is invaluable. I have learned to respect people older than me just because they are older than me. Not blindly, but recognizing the knowledge they hold, which I can never attain. I know that I am young, but to the deepest part of my body, I feel that I've stepped into the greater part of life, in which I am not a young man anymore. My body will ache and hurt when I dust off cobwebs. I need grease and oil and lube and a good, healthy warm-up session in order to do the things that I once took for granted. I am not rubber anymore. I am at a crossroads between youthful ignorance and wisdom gained from lived experience. I've traded brawn for brain. And I have also met the realization that I've never really dreamed big. It feels as if I've never known how. No part of my journey thus far has been fueled by extraordinary anything. The only things I seek to achieve are within me, in my heart and my brain, unlocking feelings instead of gathering things. I've spent this whole time so far trying to figure out what's happening on the inside, and so I've forgotten how to dream, how to wonder, commit, and excel. I don't remember what it feels like to discover new things. The only pure childlike emotions that stick with me are those of confusion and weakness. And so more distractions become more enticing and eventually turn from harmless to merciless. And it always begins with a simple lack of understanding. I am not here to have a good time. I do not have a real hypothesis on purpose, but I know that it is not to be entertained. Not anymore. I am exhausted from playing with myself. I'm so fucking sick of the stimulation. I live in these periods of abstinence, and I find that while inside of them, my ego confronts objectivity like a man confronting God, when I forget about my inherent limits before I am back in front of a mirror, like I don't remember each time before, being humbled back down to existence. And so I give up many times in a day. There is nothing here for me to figure out. There is no possibility of cracking the code to existence or the meaning of life. I've seen destruction, cruelty, chaos, general ugliness, complete disregard, horrible, scary things. I am cross-legged in the sandbox, dirty from the earth, beaten and down. My shoulders are slumped, my head sags, my chin is buried into my chest. I use the backs of my grimy hands to wipe the tears from my cheeks and the snot from my nose. I have no power or will left to do anything except give up. I see this every day, I feel this every day, I do this every day, and so every day I give up many times. I do not perform the sign of the cross anymore, but I do resign to the higher power I know is out there somewhere, watching without eyes. I've been told I'm too serious, which has made me good enough at laughing it off and swimming back to the surface with everyone else, showing that I really don't care all that much, proving that I can lighten up and pal around just fine. But it's impossible to remain fully present. Eventually, in an inevitable gap of conversation, I am stuck looking back down into the depths of the sea. I see the shark circling my feet from underneath, not menacingly, not enticingly, nothing at all except to show me that he is not going away, to tell me that it's not worth focusing on anything else for very long. When my thoughts throw me too far into the future, my body throws an internal tantrum, shot with debilitating emotion. And I'm not focused on things outside of myself. I'm not preoccupied with humanity's relationship with nature or technological advancements. I waste no time wondering about any truths of the future's reality. I accept it outright, no matter what it will be. No, I am moved to fits and tears because I do not exist in that future, and I will have been gone for so long already. I will not be remembered significantly by a single living thing. My words will have been erased, my impact grown over. My ego does not like the idea of dying, of what it means to be human. And if I am led down this thought process further, I see the familiar shadow of fear begin to take shape. He reminds me that I am not as much concerned with what will be happening here on planet Earth as I am with what will be happening with me, my spirit, my true being, where I will be, existing in a place without physical touch or any of the other senses that provide my life with meaning now. I will not be grounded anywhere. It is my biggest fear come true, and it exists with certainty in my death. I can't fathom even a percentage of what potential nothingness really is. It turns me powerless, borderline religious. I am back in front of the mirror, face to face, soul to soul, with my limits, my incapabilities. And so I resort back to faith of some kind. My body finds due north without any computation. I walk in this direction without trying. If, for some reason, I try and turn, I become sick and weak, and I can only take so much more of that before I am unsalvageable. I just don't have enough grief inside of me anymore to continue down the path of recklessness. I'm sorry, it's not funny to me now. So much as a conversation about that place is to be ignored by me, listened to without change of expression, in one ear and out the other. I'm throwing myself the life preserver. Can you not see that? The poison has flowed through the caverns within me for so many days and nights that the skeletons of mighty rivers have been carved deep enough to still be seen without any liquid. There is still a sickness in my tummy, but now it's more like emptiness mixed with adrenaline. It is more of a necessary evil than a self-inflicted wound. I am in a familiar place with an unfamiliar bag. No longer do these bouts of unbelievable power, tidal waves of feelings, capsize my heart. I have found buoyancy in myself, enough healthy blubber created and stored to hold me afloat. My new deck has been built with proper drainage, and so it all slinks back down into the ocean from where it came and where it belongs. I'm getting over this thing. So this is why. This is why I wake up in the morning and deliberately wipe the crust from my eyes, with a purpose, with slow and meaningful rubs, foggy only from the dreams, no longer from those things that only exist to me in the past. I am reorganizing and rewiring. I must tell myself every morning that immediate progress is a misconstrued idea that developed inside of me without intention. I win the battle every morning, and I am winning the war. I've removed the tiny fucking inconveniences from daily life. I'm surfacing. I've breached. I have wings now. And I'm trying to just trust the process. I'm trying to trust and hope and believe that what I am doing is working. I don't want to exist in a vacuum. I don't want the same things to happen to me every day. I would like to feel the harsh reality of what it means to have a body and get it dirty. I would like the sun to burn me and the pavement to scrape my knees. I want to lay in beds of grass and not be bothered when the ants hike up my limbs, when the flies land on my nose. I want to lay there so long I begin to grow roots back into the soil and transition back down to Earth's version of heaven. I value what is real to me more than what I imagine is best. I look more to my feet now instead of the clouds. A few days ago, I did this. I laid in the field up the street from one of my childhood homes. I sprawled out in the middle of this sea of grass, soft as my bed, and felt the sun on my face. I listened to the drone of bugs and birds, and I smelled the grass, the smell of summer. I was moved in such a sublime way. I returned to a place after almost 25 years and experienced the same sensations. I plugged my body back into this land and began to recharge the same way I once had so many years ago, when I could run without hurting, when my hair was long enough to be messy and crooked, when my body could be dirty while still smelling pleasant because I was a young, fresh, human boy. And in this moment, I learned to value returning over exploring. I am very aware that someday I will look back on my days in these years and remember them fondly, in a similar manner, able to see how they have been woven into my lived experience from the future. And I will look back on the early years I am already reminiscing on with even more endearment, even more perspective and understanding. Even as a boy, I felt that this life was miraculous. Surely I did. I did not have words for it then, but I could not feel this way that I feel now if this has not always been true, at least to some degree. Some primal, eternal, bigger than myself way. In some thoughts and manners that are sealed to time, unreachable from this present point, but still cemented in my history, inside of my internal makeup. So much of intuition is not purely divine, but rather learned. In ways without words, beginning all the way back when I was first placed here. And I am always inclined to follow my intuition first. At the end of it all, I know that there is nothing real to overcome, nothing to gain, nothing to achieve. It is just the act of breathing. It is just the act of breathing, of experiencing and feeling. Sorry. None of this life has been a waste because I have spent it all living. The trials and tribulations, the perceived good or bad, it's all just natural, beautiful chaos. I resign once again to the reality that this life, in its grandest scope, is a gift. I go to bed now looking forward to my coffee in the morning.
Feels good to be human, though.
I go to bed now looking forward to my coffee in the morning, for spending time with my wife and my kitties, my friends and my family, for spending time with myself. Such an abundance of gifts, such fuel for my soul. I look outside and see the trees have all turned green again. I have watched the branches grow buds and the buds turn to leaves. It is a miraculous thing every year. So many things have happened since last spring, and so many more will happen before the next. Such is life. I can't wait for what's next.